Okay, guys, welcome to episode 2 of What If Izuku was the reincarnation of Zeus. Now, everything you'd expect happens. He gets the letter, he passes, his mom and him are excited. He spends a week in between getting the letter and going to school, a little bit of training, eating, preparing himself. So as he gets there, he's greeted by everyone, surrounds him, asking him questions about his quirk. He mostly speaks with Ochako and Mina, mostly conversating with them until Aizawa shows up and, says, it took them too long to calm themselves down. That's not gonna go for him. So, they all basically, and he gives them their sports gear and tells them, to get out to the field. They all comply, with a few complaints, but Aizawa quickly shuts those down as they get outside. And as they're, changing, Mineta does the usual thing of trying to be a pervert. And when, Jiro punctures him in the eye, Izuku just kind of laughs at it. Izuku just kind of laughs, basically. And as Jiro herself tries to look through the hole, Izuku just places his finger on it and kind of releases a little bit of sparks, basically, causing her to flinch back. And she's kind of reading the face, kind of blushing at this, as Izuku just walks outside. He's outside, he's warming himself up, rolling his shoulders, jumping up and down, basically. He's just preparing, for the exercises. So Aizawa calls him first, saying he scored the highest. Izuku takes the ball, he forms a lightning bolt around it and hurls it, getting 5,000 meters. Everyone's shocked, some are applauding him, Ochako and Mina are happy for him that he got so high. With Zero, saying this is gonna be fun using their quirks. And Aizawa says, no, this is not gonna be fun because the person who scores last place is gonna get evicted, gonna get kicked out of my class. So, they are saying that he can't do that, and he says, yes, he can. So shut up and do it. So they get to work doing the best they can, with Izuku basically dominating the entire, exam, basically. Dominating everything, basically. In grip tests, the dash, the jumping, and all those tests, he basically dominates. Only getting second in the ball throw to Ochako, which is kind of, depressed at, but at the same time proud of her for doing better than him. So, classes go by, days go by, until All Might comes in not like a normal person. And, surprises everyone. Everyone's excited to see him, wanting to get autographs and stuff like that. But he says, no time for that. It's time for you to get a test, to test your skills as heroes. So come on. They all follow him basically outside. They all follow him outside where he is basically greeted, where he basically explains where they know. They follow him. Everyone gets changed. Izuku changes into a suit, basically like this on the screen. Some of the girls are blushing as they see him, with him just smiling and smirking and winking at some of them. He conversates with Ochako and Mina, saying, they look cute in their suits, basically causing Ochako's face to get red and Mina's cheeks to get pinker than before. He himself kind of blushes as he looks at them, scratching his head. So All Might basically gathers their attention and explains what's going to happen. He explains the rules, he puts down the random thing, they wonder why they're gonna do this, and Deku explains because some heroes don't get to choose their partners; they have to do it at random, so it's not always gonna be perfect. And Ida apologizes as they get on with it. So this is going to be Deku and Ochako versus Bakugo and Ida. As Bakugo and Ida are preparing, Ida says they should work together to defeat Izuku. And Bakugo says no, he's gonna be by himself. He's more than likely gonna let the girl go ahead of him so he thinks he can have a chance against me. You're gonna beat her and take the bomb. You're gonna beat her, tie her down, and then you're gonna come help me beat him. And Ida kind of agrees with this plan, though he thinks they should work together. So Bakugo, as the time starts, Izuku lays his plan with Ochako for her to go ahead, but he also gives her a lightning bolt, saying that if she should fight Ida, wait till he jumps into the air, or he's in a movement where he can't, or where he's in a position where he can't move, and throw this at him. She agrees, and they go inside. They start scanning the room until Deku basically hears explosions. Deku sighs as Bakugo bursts out of a corner and tries to attack him with a left hook. Deku smiles at his predictability and grabs his arm and slams him through a wall. He tells Ochako to go ahead without him, to go ahead and follow through the plan. As she's going ahead, Bakugo emerges. He's kind of bruised and battered by what Deku just did. And he's cursing. Deku's calling him a nerd and saying he's weaker than him. As Bakugo tries to lunge at him, Deku closes the distance using his lightning and punches him in the face, sending him rolling back. And then he just darts over to him again, which Bakugo barely uses his explosions to move out of the way, blasting Deku in the face. Which surprises some of the people watching. But Deku's hand reaches out, grabbing Bakugo by his hair and slamming his face into the ground. And as Deku gets up, using his wind ability to brush away the smoke as he looks down at Bakugo. I thought you were more skilled than that, Bakugo. Your explosions are pretty strong, but I'm too durable. I don't think you're gonna beat me with that. Damn you, Deku. As Bakugo basically does a flip, moving, trying to quickly get away from Izuku. Izuku basically starts throwing lightning, which Bakugo starts to retreat. Deku smiles as he starts chasing him, and as Bakugo gets far, Deku uses his wind to grab Bakugo's foot and pull him towards. Uses his wind to start pulling Bakugo towards him. As Bakugo's coming in and Deku's running back for a punch, Bakugo uses a massive explosion to start push Deku back. Deku's kind of smiling and impressed, saying, that must be one of your better ones. I'm impressed. And as Bakugo is, sweating, tired, he pulls both the pins, saying he has no other choice. If you're as durable as you think you are, take this. And as Deku's curious as All Might, says, young Bakugo, don't! You could kill him! You won't kill him, but you'll knock him down. As the explosion goes off. And Deku's wondering, what's that gonna do? What's that? He says, it's my way to defeat you. And Bakugo just yells, die, basically. And Deku just says, another pitiful explosion. Oh shit! Boo! Oh shit! Boo! Deku's basically flung back through a couple of walls as he's covered by debris. And as the smoke clears, and Bakugo saying that yes, he finally defeated him, and All Might sees that Deku's kind of covered by rubble. The moment he's about to announce that Deku is eliminated, lightning strikes him, and Deku just bursts free from the rubble, his eyes sparking, his body igniting with lightning and wind. He looks at Bakugo and says, I am going to make you regret ever thinking of using that on me. As he starts almost snarling, basically. And Bakugo gulps. Now, back to Ochako. As she makes her way up to Ida's room, she sneaks in and sees and tries to sneak around him. Ida does his usual shtick of acting like a Skeletor villain, and she laughs. Ida finds out and starts attacking her. She starts dodging, weaving, and evading some of his attacks, until he jumps up into the air, and then she remembers until he jumps up into the air trying to kick her, and then she remembers what Izuku gave her. She reaches back, pulls out the lightning bolt, pulls out this little spark which forms into a full-fledged lightning bolt and hurls it at Ida. And then he just flung back up to the roof, basically where he just lands there. His armor kind of broken at the chest, but he's mostly alright. And with the fight with Bakugo, Bakugo is currently on the ground, basically unconscious. He's currently on the ground unconscious. You know, there's rubble all around him, basically, as Deku kind of, you know, went overboard when he was angry. You know, he kind of regrets that, but hopefully he hopes that he didn't break Bakugo, so too many of Bakugo's bones. You know, Bakugo's on the ground, kind of bruised with a few ribs broken and a few cracked bones, but nothing too major. As Deku stands over him and starts calming down, he basically ties him up before he hears "Hero Team wins!" And on Izuku kind of surprised, Izuku's, you know, kind of smiling, says the plan worked. You know, and as Bakugo and Ida are carted up to Recovery Girl, you know, Momo gives the analysis, you know, how Deku basically gave Ochako some relevance in the fight, basically that if he didn't do that, you know, she basically would have been held off against Ida, but in the end they still have won because Bakugo wouldn't have been able to compete. So All Might agrees, you know, and the other fights go as canon, with Todoroki basically eyeing up Deku, seeing him as his greatest rival, and the only one that can potentially do any real lasting, that can potentially stand his way to become the greatest hero. You know, and as the school day ends, you know, Deku's starting to go home when, you know, Ochako, Mina, and Ida, you know, start walking with him to the train station. You know, they all have their little conversations, you know, they're getting to know each other better. In the end, you know, Deku goes home, they all go home, and the day ends from there. And this is the end of our second episode. I'll get the third episode as soon as possible. If you all have any criticisms or any problems with these episodes, you know, tell me in the comment section. I'll do all I can to fix them. So until then, see y'all tomorrow. Peace.